that school is back in session, that means sports will be amping up, and it's important for parents to know the best ways to fuel the bodies of their young athletes. And joining us now is Kate Davis. She is a registered dietitian. Kate, how's it going?
I am doing well. How about yourself?
I am just fine. Thank you so much. Well, you specialize in sports nutrition. Kind of tell us some tips for parents to kind of help, fuel the bodies of their kids as they're getting into these sports this school year.
There's so many things that I talk to parents about, but I think at the most basic level, what I tell both athletes and parents is that the more you're asking your body to do, the more fuel or calories you need to give your body. So if we're increasing training, increasing mileage, increasing time in the gym, in the weight room, we need to be adding fuel, adding additional snacks, a little bit more food at meals, because that is really what's going to fuel that effort and is going to help them achieve the performance ends that they're usually looking for.
Yeah, those are such great ways to put all of that. Now, what would be an example of, the most balanced snacks or meals that you would recommend?
I like to give athletes a visual of a plate. So if you kind of imagine everything you're eating on a plate, about half of that plate should contain some sort of grains. So, pasta, potatoes, rice. About a quarter of the plate should be protein. So your animal meats, your seafood, dairy falls into that category as well. So yogurt, cottage cheese, also some of our vegetarian proteins like starchy beans and tofu. And then a quarter of that plate should be vegetables. Off the plate, some type of fruit, a piece of fruit, and then a beverage. And then somewhere in there, we like to have some sort of fat because it's a very kind of calorie dense food and it really can help them meet their calorie needs. And then in terms of snacks, what I really recommend for parents is please try to start with whole foods, with actual food, right? We tend to kind of just go to the granola bars and, the chips and those sorts of things. Try to back up and see if you can start with whole foods. So we can still do shelf stable, but doing things like a trail mix that has some nuts or seeds and a dried fruit. Let your athlete pick the ones they want in there. It's okay to have even a little bit of chocolate chips or M&Ms. Sometimes that makes it easier for them to eat that sort of thing. We can do granola bars. I recommend make sure there's at least 8 grams of protein in those granola bars, so it's not just all carbohydrate in there. If we can do something that's perishable, a lot of athletes love to do like a mozzarella cheese stick with a piece of fruit.
It was eye-opening in terms of, building nutrition for these young athletes. I'm sure a lot of parents will get a lot of use of the information that you shared with us. Now, if they're interested in learning more about you and more about the nutrition tips that you shared, tell them how they can find all the information.
Sure, you can find my website at rdkate.com, so rdkate.com, and on there you can navigate to set up a call to learn more about services. I also have a great blog where I have all sorts of articles about fueling as an athlete, and you'll find me on social media through there too. I'm on Facebook and Instagram, so please reach out. Love to chat and help your athlete out.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much. It was a pleasure.
Thank you.